It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peter Ward! Villa in the lead!
Hello, good afternoon, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please subscribe. Do what you can to get me to 2K on YouTube. Give me a follow on TikTok. Smash the likes on this video. And you can follow me on all socials. I'm joined by my special guest, our Monday show regular, Aaron Thornton. This is the Avfc weekly recap, your weekly dose of Aston Villa news and headlines. Aston Villa's season is back on track. Yesterday on Super Sunday, it was Aston Villa 2, West Ham 0. You can really feel the positivity is back at Villa Park. And there's been a massive boost with the return of McGinn and Tielemans. Yesterday was a season-changing win. It was even a great weekend for Aston Villa with some results, including Chelsea. Liverpool both dropped points, and we took advantage of it. We go into the international break in a very good place. Great to have the show again, Aaron. How are you today?
Well, I'm much better than I was last week, Chad. So that's thanks to the Villa. Just want to say as well before we start, happy belated 30th birthday, my friend.
Well, thank you, mate.
I know you've had some good celebrations and you've released some pictures and stuff of your big night, and it looked amazing. So just wanted to
it was not to remember. And the Punjabi villains, they're also there. What a way to make an entrance to your 30th party. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, mate. Well, one thing you've got, Chad, is style. You know, you don't disappoint with that. So, I'm glad you had a good time. And yeah, the Punjabi villains certainly got things off to a great start for you. So yeah.
And also, thank you for the gift as well. You put a lot of thought into it.
You're very welcome, mate. You're a good friend to me, and like I say, it's a big birthday, so I had to make sure it was a decent gift. So I'm glad it got there. Firstly, from America, so that's the main thing.
So you can talk about yesterday then. So as a Villa fan now, Aaron, I'm a lot more happier, and things look like they're a lot more positive. So what is your thoughts for yesterday's performance?
I think you really summed it up well when you in the intro, mate. I think the season is back on track, and yesterday's result coupled with the Lille result this week as well, there just seems to be a shift in the mentality. I woke up yesterday and I just had a feeling we were going to win, and I haven't had that feeling for a while. And then, with McGinn, Tielemans back, it just seems like the pieces are sort of falling together at the right time. So yeah, very, very happy with the result. It just seemed like a routine win, really, and we looked a lot more fluid and a lot sharper again. And it was sort of the Villa that we've known at home over the last few months. So. Yeah, very, very happy, mate. And you were there, so what was it like for you?
Yeah. Well, even before the game, I don't know what it is, Aaron, but I had a real good feeling. Because since that Europa League win, and also we knew not the day before that obviously Liverpool and Chelsea, they both lost. So I saw this as a real huge opportunity And also, you can feel the confidence. Because the likes of John McGinn coming back. But also, Yuri Tielemans. It's great to have Tielemans back. And he got a great reception. And he had a huge roar. A standing ovation from the crowd. So it really shows how much we missed our key players.
Yeah, exactly that. I think, John McGinn, firstly, I mean, straight from kickoff, he's just running straight at the West Ham goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He's setting that tempo straight away, and just that aggressiveness and just that, just that tenacity that he sets is just, we really have missed him. And then, yeah, Chad, with Tielemans coming back as well, it's all sort of falling together at the right time. And I thought Ross Barkley as well in the midfield, having him as an option, him and Onana worked well. And
Ross Barkley, he should play more often, I think.
Yeah. I think Emery's had to just be careful with his minutes, because obviously he's been out for such a long time, and I think he was sort of managing him. Sorry, my little daughter is at the window, and so she's crying out for me. Sorry. Yeah, and I thought Barkley was good, but I think he's getting his minutes managed. But it was good to see him start from the off, and have that effect on the game.
I mean, so about it like the tempo, because I think John McGinn, he really raised the intensity. But the other players on the pitch, they look so much confidence. And he's captain fantastic. To me, I think there'll be a statue of him outside at Villa Park.
Yeah, I think he's got. Sorry, that's Kai. Sorry, Kai was dropping off my coffee. Sorry to be unprofessional. There we go. Right. Yeah, for me, he's already a legend, and I think it's been very much the talk between Villa fans, hasn't it, this season? If we win a trophy, does he then become officially a legend? But I just think his absence has been missed, and it's been proven. These last two games against Lille, West Ham, he scored. And if you remember, Chad, at the start of the season, that first sort of blip that we went through, John McGinn pulled us out, and it almost feels like he's doing it again.
Good. Please, John McGinn, he always steps it up. When John McGinn steps it up, the rest of the team step it up. Also, what a brilliant goal he scored. John McGinn, technically very gifted. So he's not just a leader, he's very technically gifted. And that goal he scored was like a training ground routine. That's what I liked about that goal. He always scores important goals. He scored 2 goals in the space of a few days.
Yeah, and I think Austin McPhee will be happy, and it was good to see a set piece routine sort of come off, because look, in the past we've been very good at set pieces, and then I feel like in recent weeks, for whatever reason, it just hasn't really been happening. And then it was really good to see Sancho involved. That's another assist for Sancho as well, which is good. Assist against Lille and assist against West Ham. So he's looking good. But no, yeah, very very good goal, and it reminded me a bit of the game earlier in the season. I think it was Fulham. I think we actually went 1-0 down, and then John McGinn scored the goal to get us going again. And I just think, regardless of what happens this season, whether it's a trophy or not, like John McGinn is just he is a legend.
With John McGinn, that most Premier League teams, Premier League managers would say to you that everyone would want John McGinn in their team. For youngsters also, if you're becoming a footballer, John McGinn's somebody you look up to.
100%, Chad. 100%. He's he's a role model. You never hear about him in any headlines. On the pitch, he's a leader. Off the pitch, he's a leader. There was an interview. I don't know if you've seen it. It was before the Lille game. I think it was on TNT, and they were interviewing Jadon Sancho, and he gave an insight into sort of his time at the Villa, and he highlighted John McGinn, and specifically called him out and said that he really helped me settle, and he's just an absolute dream of a captain. So I think it speaks volumes, and I think again not just for younger kids, but also younger players in the dressing room, like your Sanchos of the world. They also look to him. So we're very blessed and lucky to have him, and I'm just glad that he's with us and that he's focused on Villa, and long may it continue, mate, because I really do think yesterday's game and the upcoming games for the season, John McGinn's going to be crucial in us getting Champions League football.
Because John McGinn, he's given us a massive lift. I got also Ollie Watkins. He scored yesterday. So McGinn's hoping players that haven't been in form to get back to their form and the confidence. So, Ollie Watkins scored. And for me, Ollie Watkins, he played really well yesterday. He looked a lot more sharper. And he was bringing more players into the game. And he just looked a bit more himself. I thought yesterday, a better version of Watkins.
Totally agree, Chad. Could not agree more. It's almost like not having that England call-up. It's almost like there's been a big weight lifted off his shoulders. And I don't mean that in a way. Obviously, he'll be disappointed, and, anybody would want to represent their country. And I don't think the door's closed on him. I still think there's an outside chance he can make the World Cup. But he has to really perform from now until the end of the season. And I do think it's almost giving him a bit more of an incentive to play better. And I think there's a bit, like I say, a bit of a weight off his shoulder. And it just seemed like he had a bit of a new lease of life yesterday. And I agree with you, Chad. He just seemed sharp with his movement, with his passing, his shooting.
He ran his socks off.
Yeah, he did. He did.
The work rate's always been there. But yesterday, I could really see it. And scoring that goal, another goal, and getting more confidence lift. And he was more at it, I thought. For the first whistle, that he was on it.
Yeah, they all were. And I think you at the top of the show, mate, you said as well, you made a good point that it was even more important to get the win after, Liverpool, Chelsea and Man United all dropped points. Yeah. And it's almost like, obviously the players are aware, and Emery was probably like, right, we need to start this game fast, high tempo. Yeah. Let's not give West Ham chance to settle into the game. And I thought that was evident from, like I say, John McGinn straight away was just straight running at the West Ham goalkeeper. And really, really good, mate. Really good stuff. And it's just good to see. It's been quite a bleak few weeks for Villa fans, and I know other fans will be thinking, well,
we're better place.
Yeah. Regardless, we may have been in the top 4 this whole time, but we've been quite lucky because other teams have been dropping points around us, and we've not been playing well. So, yeah, very, very pleased, mate.
The thing is, Aaron, as well, that we're only 1 point behind Man United, so 3rd place. It's still achievable. We've got the international break now, so we've got 2 weeks to reset and put their new tournaments and putting me ready to start, because we've got a 2-week break. But I don't think we just keep it going. The only thing is to show that we've got a good run together.
Yeah.
And now it's a break.
And then there's a break, yeah. I mean, look, do you know what, Chad? Yeah, I'm the same as you, but it's like we're in a good spot. We're sat 4th in the league with a bit of a buffer between us and Liverpool in 5th. We can still catch Man United in 3rd. We've still got the Europa League to play for as well.
Yeah.
McGinn's back. Tielemans is back. And in a way, the squad it'd be a good chance for the squad just to have a bit of a break, reset. And I know Tielemans has been called up to the Belgium squad, but I think there's been an agreement in place between Emery and the Belgian manager to sort of manage his minutes, which is good because we don't want him to get re-injured. So I do agree. We've hit momentum at the right time, and then the breaks come at the wrong time. At the same time, I think we'll be better off for it. I honestly do. I believe that. I just feel the mentality seems to have shifted a bit more now, and big 7 games to finish the season in the Premier League.
Aaron, we've got so much to play for. 12 games to go. This is the time to get a good run together. I really believe we can get a run together. We've got Nottingham Forest next. We've got Sunderland after that. There's still points we could get. I really think it could be a great season still. To go win the Europa League and be in the Champions League.
That's the dream, mate. I mean, we want that Champions League position, and if we can get it in the league, perfect. But we do have the Europa League as well, which we're still in, so we can get it. We can qualify.
And the trophy, because yesterday, Aaron, before the game, actually half time, to get all the Villa legends from 1996. It's been 30 years since we won a trophy.
Wow.
And I noticed they're getting all the legends. The applause, all the team come out. It's nice to appreciate what they did for us, but maybe now seeing that, we don't need to be longer than 30 years.
When you say it like that, I mean, you were born that year.
Yes.
I was 5. It's wild, isn't it? But I mean, I'm glad they acknowledge the legends of that time and that era. But yeah, we need a trophy, mate, and especially when you're watching Palace last year and Newcastle, and it's like we want a bit of that. So yeah, mate, and look, it can still happen. We're still very much in the hunt for a trophy. So let's see what happens between now and the end of the season.
And also, Aaron, Amadou Onana, to me, he was one of the best players on the pitch yesterday. One of his best games, Onana. He was really strong. He was getting some interceptions. He's getting really stuck in. Oh no, that's probably one of my best games. I've seen Onana play. Just driving forward. And physically, he was a real nuisance, he was. Bullying West Ham.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what we want from Onana. He's got that big frame, he's got that presence, and he's actually good on the ball as well. And I think, we're all very much big fans of Onana, but it's just performing on a consistent basis. And I think, he seems to be getting a bit stronger. And I think, a lot of these little niggles that he has and these injuries that he picks up, I think he's starting to be a bit more resilient to those. And, he'll get kicked a couple of times and he might go down, but he's getting straight back up. Whereas before he was down on the floor for a while. And so he's becoming stronger. And I totally agree. I think yesterday, that's the Onana we want to see, man. And that second goal was very much down to him winning the ball back from Jared Bowen and just then playing Morgan Rogers through. And then, we eventually scored. But it all started with Onana.
The draw is fun because not just defensively what he does. He also likes to go forward. We've got a few midfielders that like to do that. The likes of Onana, Ross Barkley.
Yeah.
Driving forward.
And this is the thing, mate. Start of the season, we looked, with Ross Barkley, Onana, Tielemans, McGinn, Kamara. That's such a good midfield. And I think with the injuries that have happened over the last couple of months, and with our performances not being good, it's so easy to forget actually what these players can offer. And, you mentioned Ross Barkley again, driving forward, and you forget how good he actually is. I mean, I've always rated him, and I've always liked him coming off the bench. But you forget, like, when he starts games and when he's fit, like, he's such a good player technically, and just he's got that drive about him. So, if this midfield core can stay fit now until the end of the season, I think we're going to be all right, mate. Honestly, I do.
We've got a real strong midfield. In the last few weeks, it's been difficult to earn Emery because when you miss that midfield, there's only so many different cards that you can play. Like, you're very limited in options. They all look like all together. There's more cohesion. The voters, I think, as well. There's a bit of structure.
And then you have, exactly that, mate. And then you also still have Douglas Luiz on the bench who can come in as well and help out. So, like, we've now got a nice, with Kamara being out, it just gives us a bit more stability, like you say, and it just gives us, a bit more depth in the squad to call upon players if needed, and to adapt to different game situations. So, look, I'm really buzzing, mate. Like I say, I woke up yesterday with a different feel. I think as well that the Tielemans news on Friday was such a.
That's great news. That's great news. That is.
Did not expect that. I thought we wouldn't hear anything. I thought maybe during the break we'd hear that he was back on the grass, sort of thing. But for him to be, they were like, yeah, he'll be in the squad for Sunday. I was like, wow, that's massive, man.
Well, he was on the bench and we was all cheering him. The whole Villa Park just they erupted.
Yeah, I bet it was great.
Oh yeah, it was great. Also, I managed to get your job again.
Yeah.
I managed to get that goal on video. I'm gonna post it later.
Oh yes, get it on the old.
I actually got it. I actually got the whole goal.
That's class, mate. Love that. That's really good. That's really good.
But here's the next talking point. So, I'm going to get on screen the Europa League ticket prices on screen. Sure, but
oh yeah, there's been a bit of controversy, right, with this.
Yeah, I want to talk about the prices. So, I'll get on screen here. So, what did you make of
the
Europa League quarter-final ticket prices?
I mean, it's not good. It's. I don't know, Chad. I'm stuck between two minds with this. On the one hand, I find it pretty disgusting that these are the prices, especially when I'm looking at the under 14s.
£77.
That's a lot of money, and I think, especially when the players and Emery's always talking about fans, being there and sort of being that 12th man and being on side. And obviously, and I know Villa fans will do that as much as they can, but when you're pricing Villa fans out of the game, it's really quite a sad. It's quite a sad.
That's what you know what the guys the other night on Thursday night in the Europa League, they're not getting full attendance here, but you can't blame fans turning up for that reason.
Yeah, no, totally. Is it because, Chad? Is it because this is, look, we understand, and I hate talking about this. I feel like that's all we, at the minute, it's all we seem to be talking about is the financial restrictions that Villa face. And do you think that this pricing is reflective of our situation and trying to get funds into the club? Is that how you see it?
That's what I'm trying to do, I think. Maybe with the revenue and all that, but I think if they lowered the prices just a little bit, you could get a bit of profits. Dude, that way, make it a little bit cheaper, because the more families, you get more people in, because the families so they can't afford it. And and also in European games, especially Thursday nights, it's not easy to make arrangements for people in the week attending the games.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly that. Especially, and we know what Villa Park's like to get in and out. It's a nightmare as well. So you've got the prices, you've got the transport situation, you've got the fact that it's a working week for most people. So my only thing is, Chad, I don't know. So obviously that's our pricing structure. I don't
Yeah.
know what Nottingham Forest are doing, what
Mhm.
Crystal Palace are doing in the Conference League. Is this
Yeah.
is this normal for clubs to do, or is it just Villa? Because then I don't
Yeah.
understand, if I don't know the
Yeah.
comparisons as such, and it's sad because look, we know that football was very much once a working man's game, and it was it's an escapism. You go to the football to escape reality, to
Yeah.
to to lose yourself a little bit and to enjoy something and to take your mind off things. And that's now become a bit of a distant memory because pricing is just so ridiculous. Is it reflective of the success that
That's the
we're
thing.
facing?
That's the thing. I read that the other side of the coin is that it enables you to compete with the better players, to paying players' wages and all that. So there is another side of the coin of it. But I think fans, what they want consistency
Yeah.
in the pricing, I think.
And just so obviously, with you being a season ticket holder, how does it affect you? Because I'm looking at wheelchair bays here.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to pay now every time for a Europa League game. You're paying
Yeah,
65.
yeah, I have to play in the Europa League games, yeah. So, yeah, and also, not really, so these games are not included in your season ticket.
Wow. So it's extra on top of everything else. It's mate. Look, the bottom line. Look, it is disgusting that these are the
Yeah,
prices, especially. I mean, even for adults. Like, I'm not saying. Look, I know
yeah,
adults can afford it more than an under 14, but and an under 18, but still, like, not everyone can just fork £77, you know, every European game. People have got families, people have got lives and other bills and
yeah,
expenses to pay. And unfortunately, mate, this is society at the minute, financially in England and sort of globally at the
yeah.
minute. Like everything is becoming a lot
It's
more expensive.
everywhere.
And I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm trying to see it from all sides and give a bit of perspective and balance. But it is really tough. And I mean, look, we're always gonna get a
Yeah,
turnout. Like, people will pay it, they will, because they want to see their club. But there does need to be a
yeah,
refinement of these prices because
yeah.
it's just not fair on people. And I
No,
like to say, if you charge less, slightly less, and then you're gonna
yeah,
get more people in. But I don't
yeah.
know, mate. It's
The thing I wonder that makes sense, Aaron, is that even the under 14s, like the price as well, to, even for kids.
Yeah, and they're not affording that. Well, that's going to be the family, the mom or the dad paying as well. So that you're already down like 150 quid pretty much, like for to two. So it's like, where's the where's the fairness and all that? That it's I don't know. I've seen a lot of backlash.
What it is, Aaron, I think that there's different ways to bring in revenue, but you shouldn't use supporters to bring in the revenue. There's other ways to bring in the extra revenue. To, for example, that new fund zone. To,
Yeah,
there's other ways to do it.
and I mean, yeah, I guess it's about. I don't know. Do the club do fan forums? Do they have? Do they do these forums where fans can sort of speak and they can air their concern?
Facebook, they do.
Right. So they can sort of like share their suggestions and stuff, because I'm sure the club would listen if it could
Yeah.
if the demand was there. But I
They
don't
got
know.
also that group called the 1897 group. Uh,
Yeah.
they've quite a lot of say with the fans. Those fans are a lot of say because they bring in the scarves. They've got the power to do that, so maybe they might do it.
Yeah, you had that idea, didn't you, last time? Was it about? No, sorry, that was about the different ways to create atmosphere. But no. The sad thing is, Shad, I don't see this changing because if you think back to the Champions League season, even the Conference League, I'm pretty sure prices were inflated, and there was always a bit of uproar, and I just think that's just where we're at the minute. With this success, is going to come more expensive tickets, which I'm not agreeing with. I'm just that's just unfortunately with our situation and everything. That's probably the easiest way to do it for the moment now, to generate money, but it's still not good.
So we're going on to the next talking point. So we got Bologna then. We got Bologna in the Europa League quarterfinals, which, to be honest, I'm very happy about. So, what are your thoughts about playing Bologna?
Well, it means Marlon's not going to score against us for one. So
it's good news.
I'm happy about that because that seemed to be written in the stars, didn't it? Look, I'm happy, Chad, because we've played Bologna already in the Champions League last year, albeit we played them at home. So we've not been to their place yet, but I thought we were fairly comfortable in that game. I don't know too much about their squad. I'm sure you'll do some previews near the time and get the intel and get.
I'll try and get an Italian football expert.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll get the scoop on Bologna, so I'll know more. But look, I'm fairly confident, now, especially with McGinn and Tielemans back and the way that we're playing and this sort of new lease of life, I feel that we can beat them. Obviously, look, we've not been to their place before, so that's going to be a new experience. But I back the Villa, and I much prefer to have them over Roma. And that's no disrespect to Bologna because they're going to be tough either way. But I just think...
Well, I think Bologna already to get through the away leg. The away leg's going to be hard, but if we can get through that away leg, I think it'll be fine, because also Bologna, we've already played them before. Like, we played them in the Champions League. We beat them in that competition. We beat them in the Europa League already. So, it's a team that we already know about. So, it'd be easier for Emery to do his homework about.
Mate, I completely forgot we played them in the Europa League as well. Wow, that seems ages ago. Wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm fairly confident. But look, I was confident against Go Ahead Eagles, and we lost. So you
just get complacent.
Just don't be exactly that, Chad. Don't be complacent. Just go and do your job and just be professional and put in a professional performance, and we should be fine. But I was very, I'll be honest, I was happy when I saw it was Bologna and not Roma. So,
Oh yeah, and also we get the second leg again. It's at Villa Park. Yeah. So, which goes in our favour.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's. And that was why it was so important to finish second in the league phase, wasn't it? Because it just meant that then with the quarterfinals, semi-finals and stuff, like you have the second leg at home, which is important. I think it's always good to try and bring something back to Villa Park, because we know Villa Park, regardless of the last sort of few weeks, Villa Park's a tough place to come for most teams, especially European teams who don't really know us that well. So I think. That's definitely a good benefit for us.
Does it go back to what I said? But so we know about Bologna, so we can prepare for this. I do believe if we win the quarterfinal, I think we play Porto or Nottingham Forest. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's look. You want to win this trophy, you've got to beat the better sides. And I mean, look, Forest are a tricky team. They are tricky. If we do beat Bologna when we go through, either of those ties against Forest or Porto are going to be tricky. But again, I think you'd asked me 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago even,
Yes.
I'd be sort of a bit more negative and a bit like, yeah, I don't know. But this, I don't know. I feel a bit more revitalized and refreshed. I feel that we've turned a bit of a corner. So I do feel that we can take anybody on. So, bring them on.
And the Europa League is Emery's competition.
Yeah.
And we actually also favourites to win the competition. But the big thing is we need to handle the pressure. There's not the big moments. But we John McGinn back because McGinn scored some big goals in Europe. So the likes of John McGinn could be vital. Winning going all the way, winning that Europa League.
Yeah, John McGinn. I totally agree. John McGinn. Wow. John McGinn has got. He's going to play a big part, and he now has. It's going to be his third season in Europe, so he's got that experience as well as just being a great leader. Anyway, he will be able to sort of Actually, thinking about our squad, we have a lot of players that have European experience. To be fair, so we need that, and I know that we've in certain games over the last 2-3 seasons we've not turned up, or if we've got a chance to do something, we always tend to bottle it. Now's the time, and now is the moment to use those experiences of losing those games and turning it around now. And John McGinn's going to be pivotal for that because he's experienced it as well. And I do often find that he performs quite well on the big stage. You look at the playoff final, man. He scored the goal.
And the PSG game.
Yeah, the PSG game. He scored our first goal back in the Premier League when we got promoted. So John McGinn, he's known to pop up with important
goals.
So I think he's going to be, his experience will be vital. But look, it's going to be tricky, mate. Europa League, these competitions aren't easy for a reason. But like you just said then, like perfectly, we also have Unai Emery, who he's laser focused on these competition, whether he says it or not. Like you just know he is. So we have that in our favour as well.
Well, you see that Unai Emery in Aston Villa just goes into 3 European quarterfinals. That's a great achievement. The Conference League, the Champions League, and Europa League.
Well, it really is, mate. Especially when you consider the fact that we haven't spent nowhere near as much as the teams around us, the Arsenals, the Man Cities, the Liverpools, the Chelseas. So there's that. He's effectively working with the same squad that he had 2 seasons ago, and we're still firing on all fronts in the Premier League and in a Champions League position. So when you consider all of that as well, like he really is and has done a remarkable job, mate. So to be in 3 European quarterfinals is incredible, mate. I totally agree. And can we go one step further this season? Or well, I did it 2 steps further, but can we do it? I really believe we can, and we just got to believe.
We got Matty Cash, the likes of Matty Cash, in the dressing room, Eddie Martinez, Ezri Concert, John McGinn, even Ollie Watkins. They're all players that have got experience in Europe. They know what it's all about.
100%. Sancho as well within that. Tammy Abraham, like they've all played European football now, pretty much, and even the new players that have come in have played and have won things. So that's in our favour, and we need to use that. We really need to use that experience. It's so important that we don't fall back into old habits and sort of like bottle. I don't want to keep saying the word bottle, but I don't want us to just sort of lose our way and lose these matches because. We've had that disappointing taste many times, so now is the time to stand up and push on, man.
So the next talking point then. So we'll talk about Jadon Sancho. So Aaron, should Aston Villa sign Jadon Sancho? Are they permanent in the summer?
I'm going to say yes.
Me too.
I'm going to say yes, Chad. And the reason I say yes is because I'm watching him. I mean, you're watching him closer than me, but I'm watching him on the TV. I'm seeing his interviews. I'm sort of seeing how he's getting his head down. I'm seeing his performances week in, week out, improving.
Yep.
How he's starting to actually impact on the team. He's getting assists. The next thing to happen will be goals. I'm sure the goals will come. I really am sure the goals will come. But what I'm loving with Sancho at the minute is that he seems to be adapting to Emery, listening to Emery, taking it
Well,
on
we're not
board.
Morgan Rogers, like, do
Yeah,
you like so? You're going back to Marcus Rashford. I
yeah,
think, I mean, Sancho doing a very similar impact to what he did.
yeah. I think it's been slower, but I don't think Sancho was as fit as Rashford. But Sancho, he's looking fitter, sharper. There was a moment in the game yesterday where I think he tried to put a cross in, and it sort of it didn't come into anything. So then West Ham were on the attack, and I just watched him, and he was sprinting back, and it was, and a month, 2 months ago, that may have not happened, or it didn't seem as fast. But I just think with Sancho, he seems to be focused, and he really seems to admire Unai Emery, and he's listening to him, and I think we're going to get a better Sancho for that. So I think if look, it depends on what Sancho wants to do. I think if Villa qualify for Champions League, and I think if we finish the season strongly, and who knows, win the Europa League, like who wouldn't want to be part of that? But the ball's probably in Sancho's court. He needs to be playing well because Man United don't want to sign him. I think he's going to go on a free in the summer, like you were saying. So it's on him to play well, so he
And
can sort of
maybe
get
England in the future.
as well as England. He's only 20. I think he's turning 26 in a couple of days, right? So he's
These
still
his
young.
best years, I think.
He's still young, exactly, mate. So I would have him. I honestly would have him. I think he's proved enough to me. Maybe the Villa fans disagree, but he's proved enough to me that he would be. He's starting games now. He's becoming. He's slowly becoming an important part of our squad. Our starting 11. So. Yeah, my answer to your question, Chad, is yes, and I think the reasons sort of sell themselves. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah, but Aaron, what I like about Sancho is just also he links up really well with the likes of Rogers and Ollie Watkins, the players around him. And he brings us so much more pace
Yeah,
on the ball, and he's very skillful.
yeah, he's very skillful. Yeah, and we're starting to see that he seems to be getting a bit more confident now with his style. I think he lost that a bit, his sort of style and the way that he plays. And I agree with you. Like his link-up play, like him and Rogers seem to get on well, and Watkins is coming more into the game, and these sort of give and goes, these triangles. But it's just nice to see a winger that's willing to sort of take a player on and be a bit tricky. We've missed that, and we haven't had that since Bailey had that standout season 2 years ago, and since then we've not really had a winger to offer that. So yeah, I'm really fond of him, and I like his attitude. I think there's been a lot made of
Yeah,
his attitude in the media and the headlines when he was at Man United and stuff, and what he gets up to outside of football. But what I've seen and what he's done for Villa has been fine, and I'm really fond of him. So yeah, why not give him a go?
I also like his confidence. It gives us more flair. He's like a flair player, I think.
Yeah,
There's something that I saw yesterday. He's doing pirouettes. He's even doing like nutmegs with certain players. When
yeah,
you watch him, he's a joy to watch.
yeah, and he's getting fans excited. He's getting fans off their seats, and yeah, there was a reason there was a lot of hype around him. Man United were chasing him for at least 2 seasons before the deal was actually done. And you look what he did at Dortmund, and it was can he replicate that in the Premier League? And look, it didn't quite work at Man United. But you look at Man United as a club and as a structure at the minute. It's better now under Carrick, but before that, they've been all over the place. So no player really has been able to thrive. You look at McTominay, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony. All of these players have sort of moved on and seem to be doing much better in a structured setting. And that's not a dig at Man United. That's just the reality of where they are. And I think Unai Emery, especially, is a manager who he enjoys that project of the best out of players.
Well, it's really improved. You said about the project that Emery will keep improving Sancho. Yeah. You look at Morgan Rogers. He took Morgan Rogers for a championship player to a top Premier League player.
Yeah, we bought him, what was it, 12 million? He's now worth 100 million plus in the space of 2 years, mate. And exactly that, like Emery's had a massive part. And that's the key thing as well. When you listen to these interviews, like Rodgers, Sancho, I've even heard Rashford, they all speak so highly of Emery. And also like the Villa, the culture, the dressing room culture. These players are able to feel comfortable, confident, and they're given that time, that space to thrive. And I think it's really important. And I think the players appreciate that. So, look, if Sancho wants to join the Villa, I'm sure conversation would have taken place already. And it depends. Like again, I'm sure he's going to have suitors because he's a good player. It depends what he wants to do and where he wants to go. But I would like him at the Villa again next season for sure.
Also, in Man United, they're looking to offload Sancho because there's no way Sancho will get in the Man United team. So, for his career, he's better off going to Aston Villa. So, you'll get regular football, he'll be guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, he's now in the starting 11. Like, he's a regular starter now, and he's had to build his way up to that. And we're now starting to see the success and the progression in his game, and it's starting to show. So I think for him, it's a no-brainer. But we know transfers and we know football behind the scenes isn't as simple as it seems. So we'll see what happens, mate. But I would like him at the Villa, yeah, for sure.
Also, he's been performing well. He seems to be consistent, not just in the Premier League, but even in the Europa League. He plays a lot of minutes. He sort of just gets on with it. But even going back to Lamar Bogart, he's another player that drip feeds information from Emery. Emery's the best manager to learn from.
Totally agree. I totally agree. And there's a reason why players, don't want to move on or leave. Like you look at Leon Bailey, for example. He came back from Roma on loan, didn't he? And one of the first things he said was like, "Yeah, I've missed it here." I mean, look, he could just be talking to the media. Players just make things up. But I genuinely believe when he was speaking, it was like, "I've missed the coach. I've missed Emery because he's that good." You want to play for someone like Emery. He's an elite coach. You're going to learn. You're going to progress as a player. Look at our squad, Chad. Like we just said earlier, he's essentially playing using the same squad as he had 2 years ago, and yet all of them have developed and come on. They've gone through their own little purple patches, whatever.
Yeah.
They've all improved. Matty Cash, John McGinn, Ollie Watkins, Ezri Konsa, Rodgers, like all of these players, and that's down to
the England squad.
Exactly. And that's down to their own belief, but mainly down to Emery because of his belief and the way that he coaches and in these long tactical sessions, these one-on-one sessions that he has with them. And it's starting to pay off and we're seeing it. So, yeah, he really is. He's one of the greats, man. We're very lucky to have him.
So we're going to get a graphic on the screen. We're going to talk about the England squad announcement. It's the international break. This was the squad that was announced the other day. So what do you think of the England team announcement. Any surprises for you or not?
Jed Spence was a bit of a surprise because any sort of Tottenham player, really, at the minute, and I'm not saying that teams that are struggling, it doesn't mean that they can't have players that are in. Because I mean, I look at Bowen for West Ham, but Bowen's actually been doing things, and he's just a good player. Solanke for me, Jed Spence, I wasn't a bit sure. Harry Maguire initially, I was a bit confused, but then actually his experience, Man United's upturning form, I do understand that one. So yeah, I mean, they were the ones for me really. I'm happy about Garner. I think for Everton, I watched the Everton game the other day. I think he's a great player. So,
Or do you think that Danny Welbeck could be a wild card?
Danny Welbeck could be a wild card. I mean, he scored 2 on the weekend and sunk Liverpool, didn't he? So he sort of proved why that he's still at 35 he can still make things happen. Calvert-Lewin, I'm sort of pleased for. I'm a bit of a Calvert-Lewin fan. I don't I just quite like him. He comes across as a nice person, and I just think he's a decent player. So I have no issues with him. Is he going to start? No, but I don't mind him. I think Watkins still has an outside chance, but he's got to prove it to him.
It's a good thing for Watkins because the next time he needs to up his game. The thing is, it's competition. But
Yeah.
as expected, though, Watkins didn't get chosen because you got to pick players based on their current form.
Exactly.
For the England squad, especially.
There's been a couple of late additions as well, Chad. I've just seen that. So, Eberici Eze and Jarrell, is it Konza, the guy who plays for Leverkusen. So they've withdrawn through injury, and so now Ben White of Arsenal and Harvey Barnes of Newcastle have replaced them. So, I think Harvey Barnes is good. I think Ben White, I think he's a decent player, but I don't know if he's going to make the full squad.
Lewis Hall, I mean, deserves it.
Yeah,
for Newcastle, he's been a well stand-up performance this season.
Yeah, I agree with you there, mate. I think he's been really good this season. He's a left back, isn't he? Yeah.
He's a left back. Yeah.
So no, mate. Look, I'm I look at the midfield and stuff. I think that's it's as good as it can be. Really, there's some really good players in there. So it'd be good to see them over the next sort of couple of weeks to see how Tuchel experiments with them and plays them and stuff. But for me, that's pretty much standard. What about you, mate? Is there any sort of standouts or players that you were shocked that got called up, or players that you think should be called up? Or
there are not many shocks, really. But I was glad that Morgan Rogers, he's been a real big part of Thomas Tuchel's success. For me, Morgan Rogers, he'll get in that World Cup squad for me. He's guaranteed that place. And all season, Rogers, he's mostly been consistent. Mr. Consistent. And I think with Morgan Rogers, he really suits Thomas Tuchel's sort of system and tactics.
Yeah, I agree. Who do you start? So I know there's a big debate between Bellingham and Rodgers. Who would you go for?
Oh, that's difficult. That is. I'm both like them. But also Bellingham, though, he was an ex-Blue Nose.
Yeah, so let's
forget Rodgers.
Yeah, true. He's a Blue Nose. Yeah. Rodgers all the
way. That would be interesting, though, that would be. The Bellingham and Rodgers battle. Because I think Morgan Rodgers can reach that level. But the way Bellingham is in the future, I think.
I think he can as well. I agree with you there. But I do think people underestimate I think he's this good. Obviously, it's his own ability and his belief. But Rodgers has to do the work himself. Like, totally agree with that. Rodgers, he's a great professional.
Yeah.
But Emery is a massive factor in why he's doing so well.
Yes.
You take Emery away and he goes somewhere else. I still don't know whether he would do the same sort of thing. Obviously, we know he's got the ability, so that's fine. It's like I know he's going to be a good player wherever he goes, but would he reach the heights that he would under Emery? I don't know at this point. I like to think he would because he's that good of a player, but I do think Emery has really unlocked him, and he works well with Emery. So look, obviously, I don't want him to move on. Eventually, he's going to. That's just the nature of the game. So I'll be intrigued to see how his career goes. But I do agree. I think he's got potential to reach levels of Bellingham for sure.
I mean, as well, I think with Jude Bellingham, his attitude, I think that's him down sometimes. The time he got substituted. I think the maturity of Bellingham, he needs to be sometimes more mature in those situations.
Yeah, look, I haven't seen this attitude to be honest, Chad. Like, I know the situation you're referencing, and yeah, he did sort of throw a bit of a strop. I agree with you there, but like, I do think the media have sort of blown up. I don't quite know. I think he's a good player. He seems to be fairly professional. Like, I know there's been a bit of media uproar at times where they've sort of jumped on him a bit, and I don't see that. And the other thing is, between Rodgers and Bellingham, they're really good friends. So like, obviously, yeah, they're both good mates. They have been since they were young. So like, this sort of battle, who starts where, like, obviously, is based on ability and whatnot. But if one of them starts over the other, they're not gonna like hate on each other because they're good friends. Just there's going to be disappointment because they want to both play. But I do think the media sort of blows things up slightly. But look, it'd be interesting to see, the first game of the World Cup and who starts and whatnot. But hopefully it's Rodgers because we're biased.
Well, one more thing, Aaron, before we finish the podcast. Talk about Ezri Konsa. To me, Ezri Konsa is another regular starter for England, and I think him and Mark Guy seem to be the best partnership. And then you could go for Stones, maybe. But for me, it's Konsa and Mark Guy are very comfortable. It's the best defensive partnership, I think.
Yeah, I think, and I think, I don't think Cons has put a foot wrong for England either. I think every time he's put on an England shirt, he's looked very, very good, and I think Tuchel knows that. I really like John Stones as a left-sided player. In an ideal world, I would like Stones and maybe Cons there.
Left-footed.
Yeah, like. So I just don't know. Obviously, has Stones been playing consistently this season? I don't know. I know he gets injured quite a bit, but
not as good as I think Konsa, but I don't know.
But yeah, like, mate, Konsa and Guay. I mean, the good thing is Konsa, Guay, Stones, even Maguire, mate. Maguire's got good experience in international football, and I know he gets a bit of stick, but I think he's a decent centre back. It's not a bad option to have. And then you got Dan Burn as well, who can play. So it's
Also, remember to Ezri Konsa that he's always very calm under pressure. I think with Konsa, he just gets on with it. Ezri Konsa.
Yeah.
And look, he's playing out from the back. He does it so effortlessly.
Yeah, it's a thing, isn't it? We take him. Well, I don't think we do, but I think Villa fans could sometimes say Konsa for granted because he does things so effortlessly, and like you just said, doesn't make a big deal about things, just does the basics, does his job, and we expect it from him now. So anytime he does make a little mistake, if he ever does, it's like, what's happened there? But
when he reads the guy, well.
Yes, he does. He really does. Like, I'd love to see him start. I think he's got a good chance of starting.
Well, Aaron, we're going towards the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's a great chat, and it's also, as Villa fans right now, we feel so much positive.
Yeah. It's nice to go into the break, on the back of a couple of wins, and we've still got a lot to play for. So yeah, I'm a lot more positive than I was last week, and hopefully we finish the season on a high, mate.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone getting involved in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Help me to the road to 2K. Smash the like button on this video. And on the way out, make sure to hit the like button. Give it a share on all your socials. And leave us a good review. If you're listening via audio, give us a 4-star review. That always helps. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa forever as always, and up the Villa.